Good morning to all of you. In the previous class, we discussed the problems on different leaf. In today's class, we'll discuss leaf spring. As you know that the leaf spring is made up of flat plates. You can see that this is a spring which is made using the flat plates. The advantages of using leaf spring over the helical spring. The previous lectures we have seen different types of helical springs. What are the advantages we have over the helical springs? These leaf springs, they will not only act as a shock absorber, it will also carry the load of the member. How it is going to carry the load? Whatever the leaf spring are there, these are going to be the ends of the leaf springs are guided along the particular path to make it structural member. In addition to the absorbing device, means this will act as a part of a structural member. That's why it is going to carry the load as well as it will act as a absorbing device or a shock absorber. And these leaf springs may carry lateral loads, driving torque, like this different types of loads it is going to carry in addition to the shocks or whatever the vibrations which are caused. That is the advantage of leaf spring. Now we'll see how many types of leaf springs are there. The first one is a flat spring. In this flat spring, it consists of a single plate which is fixed at one end and loaded at the other end. This is nothing but a cantilever. Cantilever also fixed at one end, free at other end, and the loading will be done at the free end. And this F is nothing but the load which is acting at the free end, and L is the length of the cantilever, and B is the width of the plate, and H is the thickness of the plate. And we know that bending moment is nothing but vertical load into perpendicular distance. Vertical load is F, perpendicular distance is L. Therefore, bending moment, it is denoted by M, is equal to F into L. And we know that bending stress in a beam, that equation is M by I into Y. M is bending moment, I is moment of inertia, Y is nothing but it is the distance from the neutral axis to the extreme fiber. Okay, here you can see that this total thickness of the plate is H. Okay, this Y is nothing but it is the distance from the neutral axis. You can see that this is the neutral axis. Okay, neutral axis is nothing but where the stress acting on that at the particular point will be zero. Neither the member will be subjected for tensile nor it will be subjected for compression. For example, if I take this cantilever, this is the cantilever which is fixed at one end. Okay, this is fixed at one end. Now, as you are going to apply the load, okay, as load F acts on a structure, the member will deflect. This is the deflection. Okay, in this case, here you can see that the top fiber, otherwise I will show like this, and you will get a clear picture. Okay, this is the beam, cantilever beam, which is subjected for loading. After that, the beam will bend in this shape. Okay, in this, if you see, this will be the neutral axis. Okay, the fibers which are above, these members will subjected for tensile load, means the upper layer or the upper fiber will try to elongate, whereas the bottom here it is getting compressed. Means in this the top fibers are subjected for tensile, whereas bottom is subjected for compression. And in this, if you take that neutral axis, okay, whatever that neutral axis is there, this is the neutral axis. It is denoted by N A. Okay. In this, the top fibers are subjected for tensile, whereas bottom is subjected for compression. But when you take the fiber at the neutral axis, okay, that fiber neither it will be subjected for tensile nor it will be subjected for compression. That axis is called as neutral axis. As the name indicates, neutral. It will be neutral. Similarly, in this case, to find the value of y, that is deflection y, y is equal to, it is the distance, not the deflection, sorry. Y is the distance from the neutral axis to the extreme fiber. This is the extreme fiber. Beyond this, there is no fiber. Okay, if the total thickness is h, therefore this will be h by 2, h by 2. Therefore, y is equal to h by 2. And we know that bending moment is load multiplied by length. Substitute that. Moment of inertia for this beam, it will be bh cube divided by 12. Okay, take this term to the numerator, and the remaining will be 6fl by bh square. H will get cancelled, remaining is h square. If this 12 goes to the numerator, it will be 12 by 2, means remaining 6. 6fl by bh square. This is the bending stress in the beam. From that, you have obtained the stress which can be induced in a flat spring. Call this as equation 1. Now, as you know that when the load acts on the structure, the maximum deflection will be at the free end. Here you can see that this is the maximum deflection. Whatever you are seeing, this is nothing but the maximum deflection, and that is denoted by y. Okay, therefore, how to calculate that maximum deflection? The maximum deflection occurred at the free end in a cantilever. We know that y is equal to FLQ by 3EI. You have derived this in your mechanics of material directly. Both these equations I have taken it from there. FLQ by 3EI. Substitute the value of I. Okay, moment of inertia for this will be BH cube by 12. Substitute that value. After substituting that, the maximum deflection in the member, you are going to obtain it as 4FLQ by EBH cube. E is nothing but Young's modulus of that particular material. Whereas this is the equation which I have written it for cantilever. Okay, in all the cases, whatever the flat spring is there, it may not be subjected for only flat spring. Okay, there are different types of conditions are there. That is, the flat spring not only subjected for cantilever. There are other subjects like it might be subjected for simply supported beam. Means in general, you have to write the stress induced in the spring, how to calculate that, deflection, how to calculate the maximum deflection. In general, I'm going to write it as sigma is equal to C1. Instead of this 6, replace it by C1. Okay, FL by BH square. And in maximum deflection, instead of 4, replace that with C2. This is how you need to write the maximum stress equation and deflection. Okay, and how to calculate this C1 and C2. Okay, in your bulbarity data handbook, they are given different conditions. This is cantilever is one condition. After that, simply supported beam is there. Okay, I will show those conditions. Yes. Here you can see that this is figure 11.10. Okay, beams with a rectangular cross section. This is the first condition which I have shown, that is cantilever beam. Okay, and here one more beam is there where it is having constant cross section. Here the constant thickness is there, but the width is varying. And one more condition is that depending upon which type of condition is given, you have to select this figure. Okay, now I am going to assume that the given condition is cantilever beam, which is having constant cross section. Loading is done at the end. Okay. By seeing this figure, next you have to refer this table. Table number 11.9. Okay. In this, you can find out the value of C1 and C2. Okay. In this, you can see that if the beam is cantilever beam, in this case, you can see that the beam is cantilever beam and it is having constant cross section. At that time, you are referring figure A. Therefore, the C1 value of that is 6, C2 value is 4. This is how you need to take. For example, if the beam is subjected for cantilever, which is having constant thickness and varying width, at that time you have to take figure B. Okay, cantilever beam figure B in that C1 C2 value. Okay, and in some of the cases the beam might be subjected, or it might be having simply supported beam. In that case, simply supported beam, after that you have to see whether it is a constant cross section or constant thickness and varying width. Depending upon that, you have to see this figure. If it is a constant cross section and a simply supported beam, you have to select figure D. Then you have to go here in table number 11.9, simply supported beam, figure number D. From that, the C1 value is 3, C2 value is 2. This is how you need to obtain the value. I think it is clear now. In this, first you have to refer the figure, which type of figure is given. 11.10, page number 180. In that you have to see whether it is A, B, C, D, that is cantilever. Okay, and whether it is a simply supported. Depending upon that, you have to select that figure. After that, you need to go to table number 11.9, which is there in page number 198. In that, you have to select the values of C1, C2. This is the first one is a flat spring, and the next one is it might be having a multiple leaf. Okay. In this multiple leaf, a plate will be cut into number of steps. Here you can see that if this is a plate, it is cut into number of strips. Okay, that we'll call it as I. I is nothing but number of strips which is having a width. The width of that we are going to call it as B dash. B dash is nothing but width of the laminated spring. Laminated is nothing but placing the plate one above the other. That is called as lamination. Here they will be placing n number of plates. This is one plate. On the top of that, one more plate is placed. Like this, 4 plates are there. Okay. On this, you have to take down this I value, number of strips or number of leaves, we will call it, or number of plates. And width, B dash is nothing but width of the laminated spring. This laminated spring, whatever the width is there, it is denoted by B dash, whereas the width of the flat plate is denoted by B. Okay. And after that, and this member will be subjected for maximum stress. Okay, and that maximum stress equation, whatever the maximum bending stress is there, that you can take it from the data handbook. This multiple leaf spring condition is there. Okay, from that you can take it. In here I have not written the equation. Actually, this B dash is nothing but B by I. This is equation 11.2a. Okay, if you take this term to the left hand side, therefore B is equal to I into B dash. This is equation 11.2a. It is given in the data handbook for multiple leaf spring. As the name indicates, multiple means it will be having more than one leaf. Therefore, B is equal to I into B dash. In the above equation, sigma, substitute the value of B as I into B dash. In this, substitute I into B dash. Okay. And whatever the multiple leaf spring is there, it is a cantilever. Here you can see that fixed at one end, free at other end, and whatever the cross section is there, it is constant. Okay. If a constant cross section means the value of C1 and C2, which you have seen in the previous table, it is C1 is equal to 6 and C2 is equal to 4. That value I have substituted here. Whatever the C1, C2 value is there, I have substituted that, and you will get the value of maximum stress and deflection in the cantilever multiple leaf spring. Okay, wherever C2 is there, substituted as 4, C1 substituted as 6, and this B is nothing but from equation 11.2a, it is I into P dash. Okay, this is the bending stress equation for multiple spring, and the equation is 11.228b. Okay, this is general equation, multiple leaf. This is particularly for cantilever. This has to be written in a general form. Okay, to write it in a general form, I will replace this 6 as C1, 4 as C2. Means whatever the multiple leaf spring is there, it might be having simply supported. Uh, for that reason, you have to substitute the values of C1 and C2. Okay, and this equation is 11.28b, and this is 11.28c. This is about the laminated, multiple leaf spring. And one more is graduated leaves. Okay, if it is having more than one leaf, whatever this leaf is there, if it is more than one, it is called as leaves. In graduated leaves, in the previous one, if the member is subjected for different types of loading, okay, the maximum stress will be induced at the support. Okay, and to make the stress distribution uniform, they will use the graduated leaves. We'll see what do you mean by graduated leaves. These graduated leaves are nothing but, or before taking this graduated leaves, if you see any structure, okay, or the leaf which is having uniform cross section, okay, and the maximum stress will occur at the support in case of the uniform cross section. Okay, means the maximum stress will be acting at this point, and if the member fails, that will be failing at this particular point. Okay, to make the stress uniformly throughout the leaves, okay, they will go for graduated leaves. How it is constructed, this graduated leaf is nothing but, instead of taking a flat cross section, what they will do is they will take a triangular plate. Okay, in that triangular plate, if the member is subjected for loading, the stress distribution will be uniform throughout the section. That is the advantage of using the triangular plate. Okay, to construct the graduated leaves, they will use triangular plate, which is shown in this figure A, and this will be implemented. This is called as multiple leaf, where this is multiple leaf where they will be using the graduated leaves, whereas in this case all the cross sections were same, multiple leaf spring. In this, it is having multiple leaf, but it is graduated. They are using graduated leaves. Here you can see that it will look like a triangle. Means whatever the stress distribution is there, it will be uniform throughout the spring. And the top spring or leaves, the entire structure is called as spring. The top one is called as full length leaf, or it is called as main spring. This top, whatever the plate is there or leaf, it is called as full length leaf, and below these are called as graduated leaves. Here you can see that the triangular shape is called as graduated leaves. And this F is nothing but the applied load, and L is nothing but the length of the leaves. Okay, and B dash is nothing but the width of the laminated spring. Okay, in this case, if the member or if the spring system is used for railways, okay, whatever the carriage is there, okay, they will be using this leaf spring. In that case, if the load is more like heavy loaded trucks, they will use two leaf springs. Okay, for that reason, uh, if is nothing but number of full length leaves. If you are using it for SUV, sport utility vehicle, in that they will use one leaf. Okay, whereas if it is used for heavy loaded trucks or trains, they will go with two or more numbers. Then if is nothing but number of full length leaves. How many number of full length leaves are there? Ig is nothing but how many number of graduated leaves are there? Number of graduated leaves. Similarly, sigma g is nothing but bending stress. Sigma is nothing but bending stress. If you write it as sigma g, bending stress in graduated leaves. In this graduated leaves, if the stress you are going to calculate, those stress are called as bending stress in graduated leaves. Similarly, sigma f is nothing but bending stress in full length leaf, and uh, f small f, okay, is nothing but the load on the full length leaf. Whatever the load which is acting on the leaf spring, some of the load will be taken by the full length, and some of the load will be taken by the graduated leaves. Okay, if you take or if this leaf spring has to be in equilibrium, the total load f will be equal to sum of the load taken by full length leaf and graduated leaves. Therefore, Fg is nothing but load on graduated leaves. F of F is nothing but load on full length leaves. Okay, and to calculate the stresses, Shubhang is asking whether the graduated leaves have same breadth. Yes, breadth as well as depth. Yes, yes, Shubhang. Whatever the depth is there, okay, the thickness as well as depth will be same in this case. Graduated leaves also. Otherwise, there will be a change in the stress distribution. Now I'm going to find out the equation for uh, stress induced in the graduated leaves. Okay. In the previous step, you have noted down the equation. Sigma is equal to C1 FL by I B dash H square. Okay. Take down the same equation. Okay. In this case, to find out the stresses for graduated leaves, you substitute as sigma g, and whatever the load is there, it has to substitute as sigma g and I g. Okay, and for deflection also, you take this as yg, fg, ig. Here you can see that the remaining whatever the thickness h is same, b dash is same. Think whatever your friend has asked the doubt whether the thickness width are same or different for graduated leaves or full length leaves. Okay, it will be same. Otherwise, you could have written this as h of f for full length leaves, h for g. Here, the thickness will be same, width is also same. Only the force will be different and number of leaves that will be different, because the force acting is different. Obviously the stress will be different. That's why here I will take it as graduated leaves. Sigma g is equal to C1 FGL by Ig b dash h square. This I am going to take it from equation number 11.28b from your data and book. After that, whatever the deflection is there, this is also I'm going to take it from data and book 11.28c. Okay. Now, in this case, you can see that whatever the given condition is there, it is, which type of condition is this? It is cantilever. Okay. cantilever. Now you have to see the figure number, figure 180. Okay, page number 180, and table you have to refer. I will show that. Here you can see that the previous case which you have taken, in that it was having constant cross section, okay, and cantilever beam was there. In this case it is a cantilever beam, whereas constant thickness is there, whereas width is changing, varying width. Here you can see that whatever the width is there, it is not constant, only thickness is constant, width is varying. If width is varying means you have to select figure B. Now after selecting this figure, now you need to go to table number 11.9. It is there in page number 198. Now I need to take down the C1, C2 value. Cantilever beam, figure B. Therefore, C1 value is 6, C2 value is 6. Now substitute the values of this. From table number 11.9, page number 198, the C1 value is 6, C2 value is 6. Substitute both the values. This is the stress induced in graduated leaves and deflection in the graduated leaves. Now I will take the full length leaves. Use the same formula. Okay. Take this general equation, both the general equations. In case of full length leaves, you have to substitute as sigma f of f, I of f remaining as same. Similarly, in case of deflection also. Sorry. In this case, directly I have substituted the value of C1, C2. Here I have reduced one step. Whatever equation I have written here, I have reduced that. In this case, directly I am going to substitute the values of C1 and C2. Okay, you have to see the condition. Which type of condition is this? Here, full length leaves. Okay, if you see the figure, always full length leaves will be flat. It will not be in triangular shape. Whatever this full length is there, it will be flat. Means the condition is first one, flat spring. Always the full length leaves will be flat, whereas always the graduated leaves will be in the triangular shape. Okay, for that reason, now you need to go here, flat. This is the flat spring, figure A, table number A. You have to come here. It is a cantilever. In this case, you can see that whatever the condition is there, it is cantilever, where here it is having constant. In this case, they have used the spring, triangular one. Here you can see that this is a triangular one, whereas the first one is a flat spring. Now substitute the values of C1 and C2 for the constant cross section cantilever. You have to refer figure A. From figure A, the value of C1 is 6, value of C2 is 4. Substitute the values. C1 is 6, C2 is 4. Substitute that, call this as equation 3 and 4. Okay, and now you can see that whatever the above spring system is there, it is in parallel. We can see that if this member deflects by some what you call that vertical distance deflection, why the graduated leaves is attached to that, means this will also deflect. This type of arrangement is called as parallel. Okay, whatever the deflection you see in full length, there will be same as that of the graduated leaves. Therefore, the above spring system is in parallel. Deflection in graduated leaves is equal to deflection in full length leaves. Okay, now substitute the deflection of graduated leaves, deflection of full length leaves. Here you can see that full length leaves deflection is equation 4. Substitute that. Similarly, graduated leaves deflection is in equation 2. Substitute that value. After substituting both the values, okay, some of the terms will get cancelled. I will show that here. E b dash h cube is constant. Okay, this term will get cancelled. Okay, length is also same. L cube will get cancelled. Therefore, it will be 2 2s are 4. This is 2 2s are 4, and this is 2 3s are 6. Okay, now Take this f of f to the left hand side. Remaining will be f of g divided by f of f. Take this 3 to the right hand side. It will be 2 divided by 3. And here ig is remaining. Take this to the numerator. It will be I of g divided by f of g. Call this as equation 5. Okay, this is how you will get this equation 5. Now, as I told you, if this spring system has to be in equilibrium, whatever the load which is acting on the spring system, okay, it will be equal to load taken by graduated leaves and load taken by full length leaves. If this applied load is not equal to sum of the loads taken by graduated leaves and full length leaves, the spring system will not be in equilibrium. Okay, now the spring system is in equilibrium. Therefore, the total force on the spring system is equal to sum of load on full length as well as load on the graduated leaves. Okay, this is there in your data and book, equation number 11.29d. Okay, from above equation, you take this f of f to the right hand side. There you will get the value of f of g. Substitute that f of g in this equation. F of g is 2 by 3 ig by if into f of f. Okay, so I am going to substitute the value of f of g. Okay, now you can see that f of f is common. Take that outside. If you take that outside, your remaining is 1. 1 plus 2 by 3 ig by if. Okay, in this case, take this 3 if as the LCM. If you take 3 if as the LCM, this will be 3 if plus 2 ig divided by 3 if. Okay. Now, therefore, f of f is equal to, call this as equation 6. I will take this as is equal to f. Okay, f of f is equal to, call this as equation 6. This is 11.29c. Therefore, 11.29c. This is there in your data and book. Similarly, in this case, now I substitute the value of f of g. Now I am going to substitute f of f. You take this f of f to the right hand side. This will be 3 divided by 2 if by ig. That's what I have substituted here. F of f is equal to 3 if f divided by 2 ig plus 3 if. Actually, this is f of g. Here it is missing. You need to note it as f of g. Okay, now in this case, f of g is common. Take it outside. Remaining is, if you take this f of g outside, remaining is 1 plus 3 by 2 f of f divided by f of g. Okay, take this 2ig as the LCM. If you take 2ig as the LCM, this will be 2ig plus 3if by 2ig. Call this as equation 7. This is there in your data and book 11.29b. Okay, and from equation 1, now, sorry, there was a disturbance. Now from equation 1, yes, I'm going to take this equation 1. This is the equation 1. In this, substitute the value of f of g, which you have taken it from 11.29b or equation 7. Substitute that f of g value. Okay, ig will get cancelled. This is the remaining equation. Call this as equation 8. This is how you need to calculate the stress induced in the bending stress induced in the graduated leaves. Call this as equation 8. This is there in your data and book 11.30b. Similarly, I'm going to find out stress in the full length leaves. Okay, for that I will be using equation 3. Yes, this is equation 3, full length leaves. Take this, in this substitute the value of f, which you are just now calculated. F of f, this is f of f, that is equation 11.29. C, substitute that. Okay, after all the calculations, cancellations, you will get the stress in the full length leaves. This is there in your data book. It is 11.30a. Okay, how you have calculated the deflections. Okay, similarly, sorry, how you calculated the stresses, similarly you need to calculate the deflection. As you know that it is a the structure is in parallel, therefore the deflection is equal to, both will be same, therefore y is equal to, you take any one, okay, either yg or yf, okay, which you have taken it from equation number 4. Either you can take it from 4 or equation number 2. Okay, in this case I will be taking it from equation 2. Okay, and substitute the value of f of g. After substituting the value of f of g, you will get the deflection y. This is there in your uh, data and book 11.30 C. This is how you can calculate the stress induced in a full length leaves and graduated leaves. After that, from equation 11.30 C, we'll calculate the deflection in the multi-leaf spring. And the next topic is laminated semi-elliptical spring, which I will continue in the next class.